Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Explearning Conversation with Greg and MD. Nice to see you all here today joining us.
Hello, hello.
So today's topic of conversation is all about the distinction between being busy and being productive. And just in conversation, when people ask, how are you? And when you get a response, I'm busy, how are you? It's not the best response to that question. So we're going to unpack the idea of what busy means and what also comprises productive. And those two are quite antithetical in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I feel like there's always this, it's almost like an obligation or an expectation to respond with, I'm busy. Because people feel like, well, if I'm busy, that means I'm getting stuff done and people will respect me more.
Right? Yeah.
I'm hard to access. I'm busy.
Yeah.
But in truth, to me, when someone tells me they're busy, in my head, I'm thinking, well, they just don't manage their time well.
Right.
Right. Even the busiest person in the world doesn't have to be busy if they're in control of their schedule, right? I'm talking about CEOs, and founders of companies, right? These people are super, super busy, and they have tons of demands on their time.
Yeah.
But if they schedule it correctly, if they organize their schedule in the right way, it's not that they're busy, they just simply have a full schedule.
Right. And unfortunately, if you do want to say that you're busy, how are you going to replace that? Like, what word would you replace it with, right? If busy is not the correct response or the response that really you're hoping to give, right? Because it makes you look like you're not really great with time management or just overwhelmed and frantic. Like, what are you supposed to respond with, right? So there's that. And unfortunately, our society doesn't really give us another option in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah, it feels that way.
Yeah.
For sure. It seems like busy is what people expect you to say.
Right.
And if you're not busy, they're like, well, what are you, slacking? What
Totally.
are you doing with your time? If you're not busy, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like you can say, oh, I'm super productive.
Right.
But we're going to focus on that distinction because it is something to be mindful of. And I think it also helps you stay on top of your not only schedule, but keeping that resilient mindset and thus helping you have those stronger social connections. Because if you're in charge of the work that you're doing that you have, then you're much more easily able to have enriching social interaction and conversations with people.
Yeah, the idea that you can be productive without being busy it might come as a surprise to some. So I think drawing that distinction is important because they are actually two very different things. And in fact, when I'm busy, I actually find that I'm less productive.
Yeah. So let's talk about that now. So what does it mean for you? Like, what does busy mean and what does productive mean?
Yeah, for me, busy is like I can't really control what's going on.
Yeah, it's like happening to you.
Yeah, it's kind of hectic and unplanned almost.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas productive is kind of the opposite. Productive for me is things are going according to plan.
Right.
And I'm getting done. I'm accomplishing everything I set out to accomplish.
Right, that's a good point. I think there's like something like where it's premeditated and you've really thought about it and you've structured your schedule so that you can make time to be productive and do the things that you want to do, and then also do the things that you want to do for your, to enjoy your day or your evening.
Yeah.
Right.
And part of the problem with busy for me is that it gives me this clutter, sort of mental clutter, right? And when there's mental clutter, I can't do my best work. I'm distracted, right? So I start to lose focus on whatever task I'm trying to work on.
Go down like a rabbit hole on YouTube or Wikipedia or something.
Or I might freak out and start switching tasks erratically.
Yeah.
Right? When really I should just be sticking to that one task and getting it done.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So for me, a big part of it is just that state of mind. The busy state of mind for me is a bit of a frantic one, whereas the productive state of mind is a much more clear and focused state of mind.
Right. So I want to circle back to the question that we kind of put out there for you guys to think about when you are responding to how are you? And you want to say that you're busy, like you're showing that you're being productive. And you might be, you might take some pride in sharing that with people because it is kind of cool, right? It's like you're on top of your schedule. I like to, so I don't say that I'm busy anymore, even though I am. I don't say it. I say what I'm working on. So I might say I'm working on a new web course. I am in the middle of editing a lesson for YouTube or something. And I'll go into detail. If my friend or family members ask me what I'm doing, then, instead of saying I'm busy, I just respond with a more specific response as to what I'm up to. Like, what did I just do today or yesterday?
Yeah. I love that for a couple of reasons. One of which is it's not a throwaway answer, right?
Yeah.
Busy is kind of a throwaway answer. It's like, I don't want to get into it.
Yeah.
It's too much to discuss. It's stressful, so let's not even talk about it, right? That's sort of what busy says. Whereas...
Yeah, it like shuts down the conversation.
Yeah, it basically shuts down the conversation. Whereas what you do is... your answer opens up a whole new avenue for conversation. It gives them a peek into your life.
Yeah.
And it sort of sets the stage for an interesting conversation about something that's top of mind for you.
Definitely. Yeah. So I try to do that more so. So maybe that's something that you can think about the next time somebody asks you, oh, you seem so busy. Or like they might say that you seem so busy and you don't have time for anything, and then you can give the response that we sort of just shared.
Yeah, and I would do something similar. For me, I like to focus on maybe a challenge that I'm working on.
That's a good one.
Something that I'm trying to work through, sort out. Something that I've accomplished recently that I'm proud of.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Or something that excites me, something that I've learned. Right. I like to, sort of building on what we were just saying, I like to bring up topics that I'd be excited to go into more detail on. Right. And basically, lay a foundation for a nice, fun, and informative conversation.
I love that. So now with productive, right, we talked about busy. With being productive and this, the productivity, it's really more about having systems in place so that you can do the work. And not even like think about it too much. So for example, that we like to work out a lot and we talk about it on the channel because it's part of our lives and our identities. And with working out, like let's say you want to start building a system around working out. One of the best things to do is to take any obstacles out of the equation. And by obstacles, it could mean as like something as simple as like, what are you going to wear to your workout, right? Even if it's an at-home workout, which we're all doing these days, right? You get that ready ahead of time so that there's no obstacles, there's nothing that stands in your way. And that in and of itself is setting up a system. It's creating, you're setting yourself up for success. So putting your shoes out, right? Maybe before you go on your run, getting everything ready, even your water bottle, and just like letting that look at you in the eye.
Exactly. Configuring things in a way, for me, what I focus most on is making sure I don't have too much to do.
That's
right.
Good.
So I just make sure that that it's hard for me to get busy. It sounds weird, but I try and create a situation where I have free time, where I have spare time where I don't even know what to do with. Because inevitably the stuff that you're working on goes over. And also just having free time helps me clear my mind and get prepared for whatever the next task is. Right. So I purposefully underschedule. And if I have extra time, cool, then maybe I'll use it for something else. But I set the bar pretty low in terms of what I need to get done for a day. That way I definitely get it done. I get that sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
And if I have extra time and want to get a little more in, I have that flexibility.
Right, like setting your to-do list to only 3 items and then accomplishing those and then adding something else if you are up to it. Because a lot of it too is it comes down to like a cognitive load and how much your brain can actually handle, right?
Yep.
And if you're doing the job well, you want to really give it your all. So kind of under scheduling so that you can over deliver with what you promised yourself to do, right?
Yeah.
So it's something to think about, and also the way that we talk about it in conversation, right? Reframing, oh, I'm busy, to talking about a challenge you've recently stumbled upon, or, you know, coming up with a really cool solution to the new challenge, or something that you're excited about professionally. So really, you know, taking more care to think about what it is that we're doing that makes us feel productive. Or maybe you don't feel productive, and that's a conversation that you can have with your friend over like why it might be. Maybe you have the winter blues, which is totally fine, right? It's okay to not always be productive too. So just things to keep in mind, and you know, try them out yourselves.
Yeah, I think there's 2 key takeaways here, which is one, learning the art of being productive. And the art of avoiding busy. And then the second is being able to articulate that, right, in a way that sounds like you have control over your life, and setting a foundation for a nice, productive and engaging conversation.
Perfect. All right, so we'll see you next time for another Explearning conversation and lesson. Be sure to keep it right here on this channel. Make sure that you're subscribed and that you have that notification bell on so that you get the notifications. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone. Happy Explearning.